Phoenix Rising by Michael Anastas. Then what's out on the road there? Gengar faded into the night and went in for a closer look. To his eyes, the road seemed empty, but in his mind, there was something watching him, which was impossible because Gengar was invisible. Darius grew worried after Gengar remained gone for 10 minutes. With weapon drawn, he made his way through the underbrush to where he had last seen his Gengar. What he saw made his soul turn cold with fear. Darius didn't return, so Lieutenant Surge and I decided to go out and look for him. We'd both seen where he had gone, and each of us wielded a moderately powerful weapon. Faith and Meowth crept surreptitiously behind us, almost like they were sneaking up on us instead of whomever we were. Surge pushed the branches away and gestured for me to go first. That was when we saw them. Darius and his Gengar huddled together, shivering with fear. "Darius! What are you—" "Don't come any closer!" whispered Darius. "Never in all my life have I seen such as this." "Surge! Michael! Jessie! What the hell was she doing here? Haven't you figured out that every time one of us goes out for someone, we're just sending the lamb to the lion? We send one, he vanishes. We send another, he... Oh, there he is." She pushed past Surge and I and stepped out into the clearing. "Come on, we've got to—" "No! Come no closer!" He spoke too late. Darius had been born and raised around ghost Pokemon, so the experience had little effect on him. Jessie, however, was a different story. Surge carried her back to the toppled motorhome and propped her up in a corner. Ash, Merlin, Brock, Misty, Pikachu, and Meowth all waited patiently for our explanation. She was overcome by a Spectre Hypnosis attack, a ghost Pokemon-generated image. "That's it?" said Meowth. "Ghost Pokemon are tough, but not that tough. Even the images they create aren't that effective." "I know, but somehow, whatever attacked her knew exactly what to create." I turned towards Ash. "Ash, what's your biggest fear?" I knew in his mind he was thinking of Mew3, Lom, and his death, and I knew that he knew that I knew. "Well, whatever it is, if you had been there, you probably would have seen it." Ash shuddered for a moment. Misty cringed. Brock rubbed the back of his neck like it hurt. Meowth yawned and went to sleep. "Meowth," said Misty, raising an eyebrow, "you don't seem too surprised. Do you have something you'd like to share?" "Not a thing, but it's obvious you guys are in some really deep—" Ash grabbed Meowth by the tail. "You know something, and something important at that, now don't you?" Meowth swiped madly at the air, probably in an effort to break free. "What if I do?" "Good, then enlighten us." Ash dropped Meowth on the floor. "Oomph!" Meowth sat up and rubbed his forehead. "Why should I tell you? It wouldn't do you any good to know anyway." "That's besides the point," said Merlin, as he took a Pokeball off his belt. "Arcanine, you know what to do." He threw the ball at Meowth, and Arcanine rose up behind him. "Yeah!" Meowth scrambled to his feet and tried to run away, but not before Arcanine grabbed Meowth's tail in his mouth. Darius stepped forward. "Now, Meowth, I just saw someone who should have been dead for 20 years pull a gun on me. I want to know what made me see that." Meowth started crying. "I could never tell you that! The boss would have my head!" "Better him than us." Jessie backed up against the wall. "Are you two crazy? We need Meowth!" Brock pulled Jessie aside. "Trust me, they know what they're doing." "Lord of Madness," Merlin repeated. "Correct me if I'm wrong, but didn't Giovanni try to capture all of them? Don't tell us you forgot." "All right, I won't tell you I forgot." "Good. Now what do you know about that thing I saw?" Arcanine? Wait! I really don't know what it is. I mean, I remember the boss talking about something like that, but I don't remember exactly what it was. Just let me think." "Giovanni?" I asked. "How long ago?" Meowth shrugged. 5 or 6 years, I guess." "Wraith." Meowth blinked. "What?" "Wraith. A Gengar clone, and one of the Lom projects. Supposedly, it's impossible to tell the difference, but the Ragnarok reports clearly state that Wraith was 4 times in size, capable of hypnotic and flame attacks, and in turn, capable of mind reading. That would explain how it created images perfect for you and Jessie, because it could see exactly what to create." "Wraith? Oh yeah, Wraith! Now that you mention it, I remember everything the boss said. He's a ghost Pokemon who—" "And you knew this all along?" said Merlin, more of a fact than a question. Meowth bowed his head and closed his eyes. Yes? Meowth, Meowth, Meowth. Don't you remember that we're a team? Now, we could have gone through a lot less trouble if you just spit it out, but since you decided to be loyal to the boss... Meowth looked up at our canine, who still held him in his mouth by the tail. Please, just get it over with and kill me. No, Meowth, we're not going to kill you, though I really think we should. I just have one question, one that you really should know. Wraith was an independent project, without the assistance of any organization whatsoever. So how, pray tell, did he know about it? Meowth shrugged. It was in the paper. The full story didn't go out until after it was killed. What paper does he read anyway? Meowth was sweating frantically, so much that a drop fell down on Merlin's shoes. Oh, okay. Now we know. Meowth explained to me the next time we met that rather than think of Meowth's consequences himself, Merlin had simply decided to stick our canine and Meowth in the same Pokeball, something which could only be done with the Sierra types, and let whatever happen, happen. However, it backfired, and Meowth and our canine became best buddies. Or to be more precise, our canine learned to love Meowth, and Meowth learned to put up with our canine. However, we were still faced with one huge dilemma. Surge's truck had gone right off the road behind us, and that left us without anything to bring us safely to Emerald City. Brock managed to scavenge a map from the wreckage, made a mental copy in his mind, and then found out how worthless it was once the rain fell upon it. The Pokemon Ranch isn't far from here, he shouted over the pouring rain. We could probably take shelter there until the rain stops. The rain won't stop, Merlin shouted back. It's the hurricane, remember? Brock's face flushed. Oh, yeah. Well, anyway, that's the closest thing to civilization within miles. It's just north of here. I'll lead the way. Surge lifted Jesse over his shoulder, and we followed Brock into the night. 5 hours later, we stumbled into a clearing at least half a mile in diameter. Unfortunately, it was almost impossible to see anything with the rain, which soon grew heavier as we proceeded onward. This has to be it, said Brock. Yeah, I was right. See over there? He pointed off in the distance, where a tiny yellow light flickered in the distance. That's probably the place. Come on, let's go. Brock ran ahead of us for a few minutes, until suddenly he just stopped right where he was. Brock? Misty walked up beside him and tapped him on the shoulder. Brock, are you all right? Then, in a sudden motion, the light peeked through the black clouds, and Gary Oak stood before us, dressed in a black trench coat and matching hat. Lom was very disappointed with me, he said in a sullen voice. Why couldn't you keep your gift? If you had, none of this would have happened. Gary! Ash ran ahead of us and pushed through Brock and Misty. Pikachu followed him, running between Brock's legs. Ash! Misty yelled. What are you doing? Gary! I owe you something as well. Pikachu gathered power in his electric sacs. Respect the Phoenix? Ha! You're the most spiteful trainer to ever walk the earth. You're not even worthy of being called a trainer. Must you be so stubborn? Had you kept your gift, you would have returned to your eternal slumber, free of this mayhem, free of the knowledge of the future. If you had remained in your grave, you could have been so much happier than you are now. Pika! Pikachu stepped ahead of Ash and started shouting at Gary. Reminiscing on how I had trained my Pokemon to talk, I translated every word as it was spoken. You bastard! You know in your mind that you're just saying such things because you want Ash back underground. His happiness means nothing to you. You just want his place in the leagues. So, the rodent has a backbone. And where is yours? In a black box back in your cave? Gary pulled a black-red Pokeball from his belt. I will not stand idly and be taunted by a mouse. Face me, Ash, or are you just as much of a mouse as your pathetic sidekick? Merlin stepped up beside Ash. No need for senseless bloodshed. Why you have gone to such trouble, I will never know, but for your own health and living, step out of the way. Merlin Durai, he sneered. I owe you something as well. Of course, you will receive your gift in due time. In the meantime, enjoy the peace while it lasts. He turned around and faded into the night, and all at once, the rain stopped, and the sky turned liquid blue.